and let them have dominion.
A word from Jesus is all you need to breathe again, to live again. Chains are broken, God is revealed, raising leaders to transform the world. Dominion City welcomes you today.
Dominion City, raising leaders that transform society.
Glory be to the name of Jesus. The Bible said, and books were opened in the heavens. This morning, God is going to open prophetic books. He's going to give you a roadmap for your own destiny, roadmap for the journey ahead. Halabash. Hey, this program we do in Nigeria, we call it Global Trends, seeing and owning the future. Seeing and owning the future. Those who see the future are the ones that possess it. That's what God is going to do for you this morning. He's going to put light on your path. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? Lift up your hands and just bless him. Ask him to speak to you. Unveil mysteries to us today. Show us our role in your end time plan. Open our eyes to behold wondrous things, and then anoint us and they'll commission us to begin to function in it. That your purpose be accomplished, your will done on the earth. In Jesus' name. This season has changed. We have entered into the final phase of the last days. And yet, the plan of God is still running on the earth. It will run till the rapture happens. God has strategy for end time ministry. He has strategy. Because this phase of ministry is going to be the most crucial since the beginning of the church, since the day of Pentecost. This is the one that is going to bring the largest number of souls into the kingdom, the largest number of souls. We're going to see whole nations swept into the kingdom. We're going to see large sections of society swept into the kingdom. Europe is going to have a second visitation of God. God has not forgotten Europe. In God's plan for this final hour, his strategy is to use the Elijah revolution and the Joseph revolution to finish the task. But there is a big difference between them, because the Elijahs are full-time ministers. They are prophets, they are apostles. They will go where no one is able to go, take very dangerous risks. And there are some of them that will lose their life in the course of doing that. Because the Antichrist days are here. The system that he will use to walk are already on planet Earth. This mystic, secularist, globalist system that is anti-Christianity, anti-church is already here. That's what is prevalent in Europe right now. And so that creates the platform for collision, head-on collision with the church. He will create a platform for persecution. But God has another strategy for getting the job done. It's called marketplace ministry. Tent makers. They are ministers, but they are packaged differently. Those are the ones we call the Joseph revolution. There are some of them that will be pulpit ministers, but the difference is that they are tent makers. They are professionals. They don't depend on church for financing, for their money, for their own personal survival. Josephs are business people. They are career professionals. They are doctors. They are bankers. They are politicians. They are diplomats. They are businessmen and women. They are into entertainment. They are media consultants. They are business consultants. They will be the vehicle for channeling the largest amount of funds and resources into the kingdom to drive kingdom projects. One of them, he is my friend, an American. He pioneered a church He doesn't earn any salary. Josephs don't need church money to pay them. And that's how you're going to conquer this Western humanistic mindset. Because when you start growing, this your church is going to so explode, and you're going to have thousands and thousands of people. But then at that moment, the government will set their eyes on you. The media will set their eyes on you. And they will think, okay, he's milking the church. The difference is that the same forces that persecute Elijah promote Joseph. There was a man at the time when they were looking for Elijah to kill, under Jezebel and Ahab. The day he met Elijah the prophet, he said, you don't know, I'm the one that hid 7,000 ministers of the gospel, prophets, and I've been feeding them. The whole 3.5 years where you have famine, none of them lacked. That was a Joseph. And he was working with the Jezebel and with Ahab, and he was not facing persecution, and yet he was doing more than Elijah was doing. When Haman wanted to eliminate the children of Israel and wanted to wipe out the Jewish nation, there was a Joseph in that government house, and she was responsible for taking care of Haman and eliminating that enmity and providing. The Jews gathered more wealth during her time than any other time in their history. Her name is Esther. The forces that are going against the Elijahs, wanting to eliminate men of God, that is going against church, the same forces like Joseph's, because they are packaged differently. They take their spiritual ministry, their calling, and package it with professional skills. They don't go by the name of pastor or clergy. Some do, but that professional skill protects them. Let me give you word picture so that you get it. Elijah revolution. Look at the picture. I'm trying to draw a bean seed with no fruit covering it, like a corn, like a rice, like a grain. They're exposed. Look at Joseph revolution. The same seed, but now packaged with fruit. So this one provides protection for that seed that is inside. The same thing, but now covered with something that makes it attractive, something that makes it acceptable, something that gives it protection. If a cow marches on a mango fruit, the fruit takes the heat, the seed is protected. The fruit seed model is the Joseph model. The normal minister is a seed model. He's exposed to a lot of attacks. Let me show you what I'm saying in the Bible. Genesis chapter 1 verse 11. Look at it. God created two types of. And God said, let the earth bring forth vegetations. The first type is plants yielding seeds. The second is fruit trees yielding fruit whose seed is inside, is in itself. The first one is herbs that yield seeds. No fruit on top. The second one are fruit trees that have seed inside in itself, each according to its kind upon the earth. These are the two kinds of ministry that you have on earth. The problem with a lot of people who come to church, when they see the Elijahs manifesting on the pulpit doing their own, is that you are confused. You think that's the only model. And you think that's the only way. If God has to use me, I have to be full-time. Then I have to be begging for people to give me money to survive. The person running my country is a Joseph. He's a professor of law. He was once the attorney general of a state. He's an accomplished legal practitioner, but he's born again and a pastor. He is the Elijahs, but few Elijahs, more of Josephs. They will enter where nobody else is able to enter. Achieve what Elijahs cannot achieve. When Elijah was running for his head, Jezebel wants to kill him. The Joseph that was working in that government was in that palace controlling the economy. Because Joseph interprets the dreams of Pharaoh. The pharaohs have the power, but it's the Joseph that actually run the government. The pharaohs have the power, but it's the Joseph that actually run the economy. The pharaohs own the company, but it's the Josephs that manage it and run it. Those are the people the army God is looking for. Of course, we're going to talk about Elijah revolution at the right time. with miracles, with healings and signs and wonders. But you see, if human problems are only spiritual, Elijah's solution will have covered it all. Human beings have practical problems like poverty, like need for jobs. It's the Josephs. They create jobs. They create opportunities. They develop leaders. They are efficient managers of resources. They are investors. They make a lot of money, but yet live on very little of it. Channel most of it to advance God's cause. These are the kind of human beings that God is looking for in the last days. God usually raises Joseph at a time of economic crisis in nations. He raises them at times of economic downturn in companies. They come out with solution to the organizational problem. They come out with solution to national problems. They are in education. They are in the media. They are in technology. They are in entertainment. They are in government. Satan is going to raise a Joseph that will give him more souls than any other thing he has done since the creation of man. That man is an antichrist. God's answer to him is also Joseph's. During the time of Hitler, there were Josephs surviving under him. One of them created a channel and saved a lot of Jewish people using underground means and using Hitler's government funds. The Joseph generation is God's answer to the end time season. And you are the one that the church world is waiting for now. After your emergence, it will be the rapture. The way we have known ministry is not enough for the days we are living in. There have been very good examples. Look at the one that came from Cain. God himself educated, raised by a single parent. Went to the best law schools in Harvard Law Schools. The first black man to become the president of the United States. President Obama. Because he had this vision and he planned his life, stayed away from certain things. 3 things make a Joseph. Their destiny is made by a triangular secret, and I want to show it to you. Number 1, spiritual stamina. They are anointed. They have cultivated their faith in God. They have developed spiritual stamina. They are as deadly as Elijah. I told you inside seed, but outside, that's where the difference is. At this level, they get the same level of development that a normal Elijah or man of God will have. The reason is that the realm they are going to play in, whether it's politics or business, there are forces to deal with them. Think about Daniel. He was a man of prayer. Think about Esther. When the jungle matured, she declared fasting for 3 days and gathered all her maidens to declare fasting. Because in that place that looked like it's mere politics, it's just business, there are forces at work. If you have not had your tap root in God and know who you are serving, the wind will blow you up. Then they never play with their spiritual mentors. If you find them on the other side, they are into the occult. They belong to one esoteric organization or the other. Those are the New Agers. Those are the Freemasons. And they are loyal in the system because it's this spiritual stamina that stabilizes them when they face challenges. They are not just lawyers talking only intellectualism until a wind blows on them. There are forces that rule this world. You better believe it. You know, in Africa, why is it that during an election, you see them doing human rituals, doing all kinds of things? Don't be deceived. You think you live in UK, that such things are not happening here. In their meetings, Lucifer appears. This devil that you hear about, they see him. And he gives them blueprint on what to do with the world. He gives them a vision of global domination and how to finally bring him in. You need to understand the kind of environment where Daniel walked. Babylon, Iraq. With Nebuchadnezzar, the worst type of leader a human being can work with. You need to understand the type of environment where Joseph walked. Egypt, the all-called headquarters of the world at that time. In the midst of magicians, astrologers, his spiritual stamina protected him. No witchcraft can work. But yet, in the midst of that, he rose to the peak. You need to see the kind of environment where Esther functioned. Persia, that's Iran. The same enemies of Israel will take these boys and promote them. The same enemies of the church will employ and is glad. You see, professional skills is what a Joseph packages his Christianity, his values with. That's what makes intellectuals listen to him. Because he's competent. No Joseph stagnates when it comes to self-development. No year passes without acquiring new skill, gaining new knowledge, expanding their frontier of understanding. You can't be an illiterate like a Peter, fisherman, and be a Joseph. No way. You can go and be a preacher. Paul was a Joseph. Was different from Peter. Was a lawyer. Was a businessman. Was an accomplished. Was a tent maker. You know how he enters nations? He will get into a nation to plant church. He would join the tent making, do his business profession, and join them, and then start doing the business with them. That's why in his letters he will boast, I never depended on any of your funds. These my hands provided for me and those that came with me. So I'm free from everyone's blood. He reached more nations than the whole apostles combined. And he was not just a Jew, he was a Roman citizen. Most Joseph tried to have exposure to the international scene. There are 7 major skills. Let me just see if I can mention 5. Number 1, they develop their spiritual skills. They develop prophetic skills. They don't just have gifts of the Spirit. Through training and practice, they turn those gifts to skill. A gifting is like a seed that needs to be nurtured to become a tree. It's through coaching and mentorship. Because you only have one chance. God will spend years training you, and one day you are given that opportunity to present before management, before Pharaoh, or before United Nations, or before whatever World Bank, or before whatever organization. And that was it. That day Joseph had to stand before Pharaoh. All those years of training zeroed in. David has just that one chance to bring that Goliath down, and that is your ticket to the palace. If David had missed, his head would have been off, and his destiny of becoming a king would have died that day. So God spent years training him to perfect the skill of throwing stone. When he raised his own army, they said he developed people, because before you can train leaders, you have to develop your own leadership capital. That will tell you how deadly David was. He said he developed leaders, David's mighty men, that can throw stones with the left hand and the right hand, and you hold a hair, one strand of hair, they won't miss. Do you know? This is the kind of practice these guys are having. Not to ask you to lift up your whole hair, just one. And this man will go on a distance and hit and not miss. Do you know the years of practicing? So his skill got that stone, because Goliath is covered with armor, but the only place that is exposed is the forehead. David's skill got that stone in, the anointing made sure he slew the man. So you see, anointing is not enough. Write it down. Grace is not enough. Paul said, I had grace, yet I labored more than ye all. There are 7 major skills Joseph develops, but I want to mention a few. Business and entrepreneurship skills. UK offers the best opportunity in the world. You are here. I don't care what your profession is. You are a doctor. If you gain business skills and add to your medicine, it takes you on another level. You're a doctor. Do you know who you are? Just like a mechanic. A car mechanic. The difference is that the other man fixes a car, you fix human body. But there are other doctors that grow to become managers of hospitals. They run the system. Those are the ones that acquire more than medical skills. You acquire just a medical skill, you're just a technician. The electrician comes to your house, he fixes your light. The other one comes to fix your refrigerator, and you come to fix people's body. You are the same. Don't let that medicine get into your head. The third skill of Joseph is leadership and management skill. I told my kids, no matter what you study, you're a lawyer, go and get an MBA. You're a doctor, go and get an MBA. Then you will be among those running the hospital. You're a nurse, add an MBA. Then you will end up in administration. If you don't, you will only be doing the technical job. And hear me well. 5% of the population of the world control over 70% of the wealth of this universe. Can I say it again? 5% is controlled over 70% of the world. I actually said it's about 75%. And they leave 25% to 95% of the population to share. So, can you imagine what is going on with the world you live in? 95% of human population, 7.2 billion people, is sharing 25% of the world's wealth. And 5%, like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, are controlling 70 to 75% of the wealth. The people that control the wealth of the world, that 5%, are divided into two groups. 2% are the owners of systems that run the world. 3% are the managers of those systems. The amazing thing is that the people who own the systems many a time don't run it. Some don't even know how to run it. Pharaoh owned Egypt, was the king of Egypt, but it was Joseph that was running Egypt for him. So the 3% Josephs and the 2% Pharaohs own the world. Look at how you are here. Credit card system. Do you know that that's somebody's business? People created systems to run your life. The railway system. Look at 60 million people in this country. They are using it every day. Those men have so much money. They make more money in one day than many of you will make in a lifetime. Some of them don't work. They live in castles with acres of land in front of their house. You're looking to buy one small township hall, flats. They go and buy diamond jewelries, 2 million pounds. You wonder, is this guy crazy? Some of them don't work anymore. They just read newspapers in the morning. Go and play golf. Look at the Queen of England. This is one of the owners of the system. What does she run it? A prime minister runs it for her. The Queen owns United Kingdom, but the prime minister runs it. The prime minister is a Joseph. As a matter of fact, come food, they train them in military, train them in administration, train them in everything. They are not just some old monarch sitting there that is ignorant. The owners of systems and every aspect of life is controlled by a banking system, educational system. Do you own any school? They are the ones that control the world and the managers of those systems. The least you can do, if you're not creating a system or an alternative system, at least learn how to run them. A bank manager doesn't own the bank, but he joins that 5%. And they pay the rest of the people peanuts. They have mega bonuses, go on holidays, and they pay the real people that are going around marketing and doing all the work peanuts. The health system is run by doctors and nurses that have developed themselves beyond technical skills, management skills, leadership skills. They know how to train others. Part of leadership skill is leadership development ability. Vision casting, all kinds of things. Josephs train and develop their communication skills, because finally words move the world. They learn to be concise and hit the nail at the head, to the point. Because usually, like Obama, you get that opportunity. It was a democratic convention in the US, but he was just given few minutes to make a speech. And the moment the man opened his mouth, the Obama hurricane hit that whole convention, and that was it. It swept off all the major powers that be. And that man began. They develop it. They practice. And the way you develop it is through practice. Through practice. And sometimes you listen to very effective speakers. You listen to them. You see how their words come. They are punchy. How they hit the thing. And you practice and you master the art. You use small meetings to hone your verbal audacity. Is one of the secrets of Jewish people. Watch Benjamin Netanyahu anytime he's in the United Nations. Watch them. They are the ones that control the world media. from CNN to Fox News and the rest of them. Communication is a weapon. Words rule the world. One of the secrets of Joseph is cross-cultural skills. You know what's cross-cultural? Going beyond the culture that you are born into to learn other people's culture. Cross-cultural skill is languages. Let me give you a secret now. You know, this weekend will change your life permanently if you get what we are teaching. Let me give you a secret. Pastor Gentle, pay the price for this stuff. There is something that breaks down barriers, breaks down walls. And the man that used to hate you all of a sudden becomes your friend is learning his culture. All these barriers you see on earth, black against white, what is cultural issues. Look at British people, they are well cultured. They are egocentric people. They have certain things they are proud of in their culture. You don't just come to Africa and be poking your nose and be misbehaving like you are still a monkey in the bush. God brought you here to develop you, to take you to another level. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? If you don't learn cultural dynamics, you stay in your world and your world will be small. Hey. You go to eat, you won't learn table manners. You just be eating cha, 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 cha. You are going to lose a lot of businesses, lose promotion, and lose favor in many places. Manner attracts favor. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? You don't learn how to dress. You join the prison breaks, US boys, to sag your trouser. You think you are having for you a gangster. Go and join Snoop Dogg and go join those guys. There is a field for them. But if it's the professional world, if it's in the political scene, you want to go far, get your life in order, my friend. Become cultured. There's a Joseph in this country. He's a Nigerian man. Mom of British descent, father of Southeast Igbo descent. He almost became your prime minister. Those are the kind of things. Learn God's strategy. You're an Esther. You're a Joseph. You're a Daniel. You're a Nehemiah. Some of you will live here. Some of you will come back home. But you are going to help rebuild the ruins of Africa and the ruins of your nations. Can I hear you say amen? You know, if you leave me here 2 years, 3 years, the army I will raise, what they will be doing in this country and all over Europe. Because I love United Kingdom. I love the country. That's the country that brought education to my country, brought the gospel to my country. When your parents finish training you, when you grow up, you owe them a responsibility. That's my mindset. You never hear me complain against the West. Never. Josephs don't do that. Bitterness will keep you locked in your own small world. Go beyond your boundaries. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Language is one of them. Let me show you a secret. The most widely spoken language on earth is English. So I'm not going to bother. That should be your home language. Apart from the language where you are born, you need to have at least 2 major international languages that will help you. Joseph spoke Hebrew fluently and the Egyptian language. The largest language now, if care is not taken, is trying to catch up with English. The largest language deployed in the business and political arena is English language. You go to Asia, they are trying to learn it. You go to the Middle East, they are trying to learn it. As a matter of fact, people who become teachers, who go to some of these foreign nations, who want to teach English, make a lot of money. Arab world I've been to. But the global economy is shifting from the West, the center of global economy, to the East. Asia is where the thing is shifting to. Already, they have announced this year now that China has overtaken US as the #1 economy in the world. So you look for one language that is Asian, that will strategically position you for the future. And I'm talking to you because the future is yours. The next 50 years is yours. If you can learn Chinese language. Because there are others like South Korea, maybe Japanese language, but this one will position you the most. The new USA is China. You better believe it. Do you know right now, I'm in the mission field, the largest sending nation on earth when it comes to sending Christian missionaries to foreign countries is China now. Their growth is coinciding with the growth of Christianity. Actually, China seems to have more Christian than any other nation on earth right now. Oh, many of you don't know. There are even those that are suspecting that their president is an evangelical. But it's just like Gorbachev, what he did with the Communist Party. This one is just staying within the system so he can advance. Yes. There are over 230 million Christians in China. Born again, no, spirit-filled evangelicals. Where the gospel starts dominating, the economy corresponds. When the diminishing, as the gospel drops, and loyalty to values of the kingdom drop, it also affects the economy and the influence of that nation. In Africa, for those who want to do business back home, if you have English, you are already well positioned, but close to 600 million people speak French. Africa is 1.2 billion. Half of Africa speaks French. More people speak French than English. Look at the whole of North Africa. Look at actually 90% of West Africa. Look at the Sahel region. They're all French speaking. The whole of North Africa except Egypt. We're talking about Joseph. Joseph is a global citizen. He's not just a local. They go beyond national boundaries. They were able to influence. He was involved in international business, international ministry. That's why God picked many of you and removed you from your country and brought you here to expand your world so he can use you beyond what he did with your fathers. Joseph did what Jacob could not do. 6, social skills, people skills, relationships. You know, I just talked about cross-cultural skills. Joseph finally brought his whole family abroad to live with him. His father and daughter. And when they arrived, he told them, you guys are cattle rearers. You are farmers. The Egyptians hate cattle. If you come like that to Pharaoh, there will be problem immediately. You will lose. So, there is a part of Egypt called the land of Goshen. A lot of grasses and all of that, and it's fertile. I'm going to arrange for you guys to live there. And when I bring you to introduce you to Pharaoh, you tell Pharaoh that we were raised as cattle rearers and farmers, nomadic people. And that's one of the reasons we want to stay there, so we don't offend Egyptian people and their culture. He understood the culture of Egypt. He understood the culture of the Jews, and he was able to manage. And that's what the Jewish people prospered. He gave them the best of the land. The fertile crescent in Egypt, near the Nile. And they grew crops, and at a particular time, they took over the economy of Egypt. They multiplied. The years later, a new pharaoh that came up got worried about their economic exploit and called a meeting. We have to find a way to check these boys. They're buying up your companies. Who owns Range Rover now? Who owns Volkswagen? Who owns many of your companies, even Harrods? And then they know that one day they can be dealt with government. So they are pushing a lot of their kids to study law, study different, and go into government. They are becoming MPs, they are becoming councillors, they are going into the parliament. How are you going to deal with them? They are becoming mayors. They understand kingdom. You better open your eyes. And finally, one of the skills that Joseph developed is the ability to read trends. There's a word I used for it here. Innovation and problem-solving skills. First of all, he developed the ability to read prophetic trends. Then develop the ability to read global trends. We're talking about the gift of foresight, the ability to see the future, where things are headed. There is a book I published called Global Trends, but you can go to the internet. There are two major institutions, for example, the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, in the US, and another major agency whose job is to help United States government shape policies and plan for the future. They engage in research and intelligence gathering from all over the world. So they publish global trends every 10 years. So I think there is Global Trends 2015. That's the one they are still using now. I think there are 5 years or something, they will publish another one. I always study it. They have studied your country like UK. They know everything and where things are going. They know where the economy is going. They know more about Africa than us that live in Africa. That's one of Joseph's secrets. Because that's what helps innovation. Ability to see problems before they emerge and come out with solutions ahead of time. That's what makes them darlings of the powers that be. You know, when you read end time prophecy, don't be a fool. For example, ministry strategies are to be developed based on end time prophecy. He said in the last days men shall be lovers of themselves, lovers of pleasure. So we're going to have immorality on the increase. We're going to have selfishness, hate, disobedience to parents. If you understand an operating environment for business, you now know how to engage. When you are going to start a business, you need to scan the environment, do feasibility studies, do market studies, and know what is going on before you start. Know who your competitors are. In ministry, God gave ministers of the gospel who are going to be ministering in the last days the kind of environment under which you're going to be doing ministry. People are going to be heady. People are going to be disloyal. Rebellion is going to be on the increase. Immorality is going to be on the increase. That tells a pastor the kind of antidotes, the kind of messages you are to be preaching. We are getting results that many churches are not getting. Because we understand the times and know what the church should be doing. But then another person will study that, a businessman, and understand, okay, disloyalty is going to be on increase. Trust breakers. People hardly keep their word. It means now, as a businessman, you use this in developing strategies. You don't just take promises. Put it down on paper. Get a lawyer. Don't take mere words, even if you mean the person in church. Joseph was heavily hurt by his brothers. And it happens to a lot of Josephs. They will be abroad working 3 jobs, sending money just to help family build their house. One younger brother will squander it. To him, you are plucking dollars and pounds from a palm tree. He doesn't know what that girl is going through. Just to help his family get the best of education back home, he will just go and throw a party. You send money so the family can get a car, you go and squander it. But later, when Joseph reunited with his brothers, he tested them. He will put money in their sack and fill it, hide it in their corn that they came to buy, and allow them to go to see if there is any integrity in this man. And they will come back and report. Next time, he put his gold cup inside. He subjected them. You see, don't just trust. Test before trusting. He has matured now. He has matured. He has matured. That's why many of you ladies have been messed up by men. You're just one-track mind. Just emotion. I'm in love. Love without brains will get you into trouble. How many of you are getting the message this morning? So I'm right here, you're 18, eh? The Holy Ghost sent me. He sent me. Businessman, test before trust. That's trust. You can't do business without it. Look for character. Look for credibility, not just competence. That's Joseph's final strength, moral stamina. That is reputation capital, integrity. Have I given you the complete skills of Joseph? Innovation, problem solving skills. Yes. Let's leave that. Let me talk to you about the 7 character qualities of Joseph. Moral stamina. Go and do a chapter by chapter, 14 chapters of Genesis, from chapter 37 to chapter 50, on one man, Joseph. Then Esther, from chapter 1 to chapter 10, on one woman, another female, Joseph. Then Daniel, from chapter 1 to chapter 12, on another. That's how important God thinks this ministry is. Some people have just mentioned one line in the Bible. Some are mentioned only one chapter, they disappear. Many of the apostles of Jesus, apart from where their names were listed, and he called 12, they listed their name, they were never heard of. Then one of them, Thomas, was only mentioned again when he doubted and vanished. And God will bond 14 chapters on one person. Not even Isaac. 14 chapters. Those 10 chapters of the book of Esther. Those 12 chapters of the book of Daniel. Those 14 chapters of Genesis focusing on Joseph. From 37 to 50. You have to master it. I have ransacked it. Without it, you don't understand the time you are living in. And many of you will not understand the ministry you're called into. Joseph pastored churches, but they are more efficient in reaching the society than normal pastors. VP Osibanjo is a pastor. Minister of Trade and Investment, John Elema, is a pastor. There is one Igbo man, he's from southeast Nigeria. But since the time of Tinubu, he's been in Lagos State, and a major choice, which administration that comes, they collect him back. Ben Akabeze, he was Minister for Economic Planning for Lagos State, helped them to develop all these tax and all this economy of Lagos. You see, one man did it for Tinubu. Fashola came. First person he will retain is him. He will pick him back. This new governor came and brought him back. Now the president has collected him. Okay, you say he's not from our tribe. He's not from the Josephs break tribal, racial boundaries because they have skills that are needed. And they have integrity to back it up. Okay, you say he's not from our tribe. He's not from the Josephs break tribal, racial boundaries because they have skills that are needed. And they have integrity to back it up. The first and foundational character quality of Joseph is loyalty. Loyalty is a quality that makes you faithful to the authority. Loyalty is related to authority. You will never find a Joseph involved in rebellion. You will never find a Joseph involved in backbiting. When they are talking about the boss in the company, they are not part of it. Loyalty is now the first reason why Josephs enjoy fast favor and promotion. Anywhere you find them, you will see them involved in plotting against leadership. Because those who sin against power are demoted by powers. Those who are loyal to authority are promoted by them. Actually, Joseph usually don't have money, but pharaohs take them to the palace. Loyalty takes them to where they become politicians. They will. Other people that have the money will recommend them because of one thing called loyalty. That's why that Igbo man can come from there and be in another tribe and be ruling with the people. That's why different Jewish people will come to Babylon, this is the issue. Many of you, that's where your problem is. In church, you undermine leadership. In the company, you undermine leadership. And this thing started when Joseph was living with his father. When all his brothers were misbehaving, he's the one his father can trust. Loyalty wins you the trust of people, the trust of those in authority. And consistent display of loyalty takes you to the heights. They promote you fast because it's one of the rarest commodity on earth. When somebody has money, he needs a trusted person. When somebody is powerful, he needs somebody confident. The people who own major systems of the world are not the ones that run it. They don't have the capacity because branches, different companies, Look at Harold. How can one man do that? But he needs somebody he can trust. They never betray the trust imposed on them. Write that one down. Number 2, character quality of Joseph is integrity. Is financial integrity. They refuse and made of that commitment never to be corrupt. And the downfall of Joseph has something to do with integrity when they violate it. Because they are trusted with so much, they are promoted. But in the midst of so much resources, so much whatever, they are accountable. And their accountability gets them to a point they stop checking them. And what wise Joseph do, even when nobody checks, nobody audits, they keep their records and keep it there. Integrity is a moral capital that gives foundation to success. It's integrity and wealth and the hand. Integrity finally will lead to power and will lead to wealth. It has spiritual value, it has social value, because people can trust you. And so businesses run fast. Turnover increases. Places where you go, they do sharp practices. You lose the customer. You just cheat me once, but you lost me. Humility is the third virtue of Joseph. When Joseph was a young man, 17, he was proud. He had youthful pride. God showed him a vision. He was easy to tell his brothers, you'll be bowing down to me. He was sold into slavery, hardship, trials, and wilderness experience broke him. And that virtue was cultivated and he matured. It was when God saw that he has matured, he now raised him to become prime minister. Humility attracts favor and attracts fast promotion. Pride sets you up for a fall. Humility makes it easy to learn so that you can be mentored and coached and you can rise up fast. Pride blocks you from godly counsel, blocks you from mentorship, from help that you can get. Pride isolates you from help. Humility gives you access to help. You can climb on other people's shoulders to climb up to your destiny. He got broken and he became humble. Another virtue of Joseph is honesty. A lot of people don't know that in leadership, decisions are based on information. A whole organization can be damaged by withholding vital information or by misrepresenting facts. Businesses suffer. The leaders make decisions. Management make faulty decisions because of lies that you told them. So the Bible said, honest lips are the delight of kings. Whenever a man is in authority, that person that gives him information, correct perspective of how things are going on, whether he's in the market. You can imagine, for example, a president, he's not the one that goes out to know what the people are saying. That person that constantly keeps him in perspective, he promotes fast. He trusts you. Honesty will get you very far. Let me tell you, deceit is for a while. And deceit includes holding information. If you go and study Joseph, the first chapter said why he was with his father. He is the one that gives his father updated of all the antics and what his brothers were doing. Of course, his brothers hated him for it. If you practice it in an organization, some people will hate you. The bad guys. The people who. But that will get you very far. Dishonesty damages relationship, destroys trust, creates suspicion, and hinders promotion. Even in marriage. One of the biggest cause of problem in marriage. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you let me know about this? Why am I now finding it out? One of his character qualities is diligence. The man was a hard worker. Never promote a lazy man. Your organization will go with him. Was a hard worker. His time in slavery, his time taught him and disciplined him. Lazy people, they can't meet deadlines. type that document. I want to see the file by Monday. By Monday, they are filled with excuses. Remove him from sensitive position. If you have a place that is not so serious, if you want to keep him there, usually you should sack him. They are leaking resources for your company. That the ones keeping that organization from growing. They always have excuse for why things should not happen. Diligent people, they don't make excuse for failures. They deliver deadlines. If you want to be a leader, the Bible said the hand of the diligent will be a barrel. Sit down a man diligent in his business. He will not sit with men, he will sit with kings. You want to be a Joseph? You have grown up with that character flaw of laziness. Get somebody to hold you accountable. Make you rise up early. It starts with rising up early. Keeping to time. Keeping to deadlines. Delivering. An assignment is given to you. It's character that you are forming. It's not just a job. A friend of mine had a lot of problems. He was broke. Landlords threw him out of the house. He couldn't pay his rent. You call it mortgage here, and all of that. Finally, I arranged an opportunity because this guy had skills. His problem was character. Professional skills he has. In the world of IT, infotech, the man is a guru. So I spoke to some of my banking friends, who are management, and they set up a meeting for him to come and make a proposal, and they were going to give him a contract of 80 million. I don't know what that would be if converted, but that's in my own currency. And that will have taken him very far. And so we set it up. Monday morning, 9 a.m., the boardroom, everybody will be seated for you. And I kept him updated. Saturday, I called him again. He had a whole week to get ready. Because I knew him. He has these character issues. You can't go far. That's a Joseph that was messed up by indiscipline. Sunday evening, I called him again. He said, don't worry. Why are you stressing yourself? Early morning, 6 a.m. on Monday. Because he was coming from another side where he has to cross a major bridge and there are a lot of traffic on that route. I had to wake him up to be sure. Because what we agreed at 5 a.m. you have gone. Pass before the traffic. I called by 6. He was just waking up. I said, get up. It's still early. Brush your mouth, dress up and start coming. He said, don't worry. Why are you harassing me? So because I was the one introducing him, I was there. 8 a.m. The presentation is 9. 8, I was calling, his phone was switched off. 8:30, I was sending messages. Finally, I got him 9 a.m. I said, where are you? He said he was stuck in traffic. I begged all the executives, top executives of the bank, plus the MD was seated. The conference hall, and then the projectors are set where he was going to make his presentation. I begged them, the way Lagos is traffic, just give him 30 more minutes. He will be here. 9:30, where are you? I'm still on the traffic. I begged them one more time. 10 a.m., where are you? I'm still on the traffic. 10:45, the meeting has dismissed. Because after 10, they all vanished. And they told me, never bring this kind of stupid man again here. If not that I know you are a person of integrity, I would have. See how we wasted 3 hours of bank time from 7 to 10 waiting for that fool. 10:45, he ran in with his files. He said, DP, where is the whatever? I said, me, I'm supposed to be in my office. I shifted all my appointments just to come here to help you. I said, you have done this to me before. You have done it again. Never again will I use my influence to recommend you for anything. One of the moral capital of Joseph is sexual purity. Respect for the marriage institution. He was tempted because Egyptian women are loose, the Cleopatras, and they are pretty. And the man was living outside his own country in a foreign land where his father can monitor him, sister can monitor him. Nobody at home is there. But he has cultivated the fear of God. Then Potiphar's wife started coming after him. That's his boss. A Joseph is loyal to the authority. Because God can't promote you without using authority. He can't. He can't just come from heaven and promote you. You better understand the role of men in your journey. I don't need anybody. Sorry for you. You will die. You will die small. Nobody accomplishes his destiny alone. And it's his boss wife. And the man said to the woman, Madam, listen. My Oga entrusted everything in my hand. He doesn't even check accounts anymore. The only thing that he kept is you. I have the fear of God. I cannot do this against God, and I cannot do this against my boss. To sleep with his wife, I cannot do it, man. Please. The Bible said day after day. You know what loss does? It will look like you have not eaten. You know, somebody's eating granite and he passes where you are. It will look like you have never tasted granite. Or somebody is just eating, they are frying plantain, or they are cooking stew. Eating smell, and it will look like you have never eaten it. That's how temptations are. That woman, it is until I test Joseph. You read these stories, you know that married women make out. Young boys, house boys, drivers, gate men, employees. Not a Joseph. Check an Esther. Check a Daniel. Never. Said Daniel proposed in his heart never to defile himself with the king's meat, because the pleasure had to do with appetites, whether it's sexual or food or alcohol or drugs or any of them, pornography or whatever. There is something the brain secretes. Go and Google it. It's called neurotoxins. When you open pornography, you're watching it, and it does 7 damages. One of them is a retards mentality. This is science. This is not Bible. And that thing is secreted. It grows in your brain, and it will look like viruses on the brain. It enhances laziness and restlessness. It keeps weakening your character. Immorality corrodes mentality. Even the wisest man that ever lived, Solomon, once he started gambling into, he started making stupid mistakes, until one day he was making idols. The man that God appeared to 2 times. Joseph's respect the sanctity of marriage. And even if you want to make out, is a married woman or a married man, are you mad? They practice sexual purity. When a person will not be faithful to his spouse, he will not be faithful to you in your business. It's a fact. One of the qualities of Joseph is called honor. Joseph loves and deeply honored his father. Actually, go and check of all the sons of Jacob, that was the boy that collected double portion. When you read second to the last chapter of the story, chapter 49, you see that Jacob invited his 2 sons and lifted them to his sons and made them tribes in Israel. Today we have the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. He gave Joseph double portion. He mentioned with his mouth the rights that belonged to the first son. He gave it to Joseph because of honor. Go and see what he did. Some people don't understand honor. Honor to God, honor to men of God, honor to your parents. I wish I can stay here a little, but I need to stop. Okay, 2 more. Joseph practiced forgiveness. He did not allow bitterness and strife to poison his heart, and he would have stopped his ministry. You know, the mother of wisdom is love. Anything you love, you develop interest in, and you end up becoming very wise in that field. Strife, bitterness, even tamper with intellectual exploits. Because the time you should be using to focus on positive things, innovation, how to find solution, you are brooding on the past. Forgive and let go so your destiny can move forward. Can I hear you say amen? Remember that his brother sold him, betrayed him, stabbed him at the back, even planned to kill him. He forgave them, and later he was the one God used to save them. The man understands what it means to walk in covenant. Finally, there is no Joseph anywhere without generosity. Giving. The man managed the economy of a whole nation, but channeled most of it to advance God's kingdom, to preserve the lives of the Jewish people, and to empower the poor and the needy. Now, there was a section where the Bible described how wealthy he was, the kind of food the man was, the kind of house he lived in. He invited his brothers, for example, to come and eat with him in the house. He was a wealthy man. He was a blessed man. He was all that. If you see what he gave his father, if you see, even before his father landed, when he was still at home, the kind of resources he sent him even wagon. That's today's car to bring him down to Egypt. Then when he landed, you need to see what he did for the man, and what he did for his brothers, and then what he did for his younger brother Benjamin. The man is a giver. You can't be stingy and be a Joseph. You will not reach your destination. That will prevent promotion. Because a Joseph is raised to save a generation, emancipate people from poverty, create jobs, create opportunities, move resources, finance the kingdom, preserve God's people, especially during a time of economic crisis. A Joseph doesn't only help poor people by giving them charity. He helped empower them with training to create jobs. The Bible says he taught Pharaoh's senators wisdom. He had a small leadership school where he was grooming those who helped him to run the nation. It was part of the leadership skill that he cultivated. He was a large-hearted person. He was a man of compassion. He changed Egypt. He provided them seed and taught them to plant and grow the crops. And then brought 20% of all the produce, 1/5, back from Pharaoh. They said it was him that made it a law. The 20% of all the produce of the land of Egypt comes to the government. He made the taxation bearable, but first empowered the people to create the wealth. Not just giving them free food. That's the Joseph ministry. That's the Joseph ministry. There are 3 tests, and I close with it. Another triangle. That's my last for you today. In the making of a Joseph, it's easy to hear all these wonderful things and think they just get there easily, become prime minister. No, they go through very rough time. 2 times that man was sold into slavery. 2 times he was demoted. 2 times he was promoted. While enjoying favor in his father's house, having a bright future at home, they sold him into slavery. He lost everything, lost that affection, lost all the opportunities in Canaan. But God intervened, and Potiphar bought him, and favor brought him up again. Through false accusation, being accused of sexual harassment, of attempt to sleep with another man's wife, he lost everything, lost his success, the general manager of the company, lost his position, lost his good name, lost his reputation, and went into jail. But out of that place, he was promoted again to become the prime minister. Now, in the making of Joseph, there are 3 tests. And this is the exam that decides your fate. 3 tests that a Joseph writes. And that's what God has to use to purify, to mature, to stabilize, to build inner strength and character. And then finally, he will now promote. 3 tests. I'll write it here like another triangle. The first is the money test. And the exam comes in 2 forms. First is exposure to abundance. And see if you will yield to corruption. The other is exposure to scarcity. God will test you in both levels. Before he stabilizes you as a Joseph, to put in charge, promote you finally, you would be tested with lack. Whether you will say trust God in the midst of it. Broke to the core, and God still loves you. Remember, God loves Joseph's. But there is training for reigning. Number 2, the power test. Money test is about greed. To make sure that greed is purged out, stinginess purged out, to produce a man who can trust God for his finances, who can believe God not just for himself, who can become a channel of blessing to others. A Joseph does not live for himself. A Joseph is a channel, not a reservoir, not a Dead Sea. I have been to Israel. Why is Dead Sea is that he collects water and never sends water out. Give me. So the second test is the power test. And there are 2 tests there. One has to do with loyalty to people in authority that are over you. Whether selfish ambition will lead you to rebellion and you want to get power by. The other one has to do with service to the people that are under you. Power is given for service. Whether you will abuse power and start oppressing the people that are placed under you. You'll be tested under authority and you'll be tested in authority. Those are the 2 things God is going to do before he finally promotes you. You'll be put under authority and you'll be put in authority. Whether you are going to abuse power and start using it to oppress, or use it to only advance your own selfish agenda. Power is given for service. Power is given for justice administration. If you see people being oppressed, you see people's rights being violated, you want to help them, you can't. If the police is corrupt and they're doing the wrong thing, you can't go and stop. You can't go and challenge a system except by engaging a system. You can't go and use ordinary hand to stop a car that is in motion. You will be killed. You will be crushed. So what people do is, when you want to fight an oppressive system, you walk your way into politics or into power or go through the legal means or whatever means that will enable you to stop that. There are battles you fight by engaging the system, not as an individual. You don't see a truck carrying goods, 18 tire long, and you go and stop and say, I can stop you. You will be dead. If a prime minister is corrupt, you don't go and fight him as an individual. You have to deploy systems. Maybe the media, maybe you go into politics, maybe you use the judiciary, the law and the courts, because he can ruin your life. He can send IRS. What's the tax agency that go after tax, internal revenue here? You can send them after you. And when government wants to deal with you, they will find something. They will find something there. Power test. And finally, is the pleasure test. Pleasure. Starting with sexual pleasure, drugs, alcohol, pornography. You can throw away your future by mismanaging pleasure, including how you enjoy your time. God worked 6 days, rested on the 7th day. So the ratio of work to rest is 6:1. That's how you know you are in order. 6:1. Pleasure breeds vices, laziness, and ends up enslaving people. But there is legitimate pleasure. In marriage, sex is to be enjoyed, not to be endured. Go into a committed relationship if that's what you want. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from pornography. You say, Pastor, you don't understand. It's so easy to access in this country. Give somebody else the authority to lock up your internet. You know, there are filters now. Lock it up. Tell him to keep the code you don't want to know. And you are free. That's what I do with my kids. We buy them a laptop I bring in one of the pastors that's IT, lock it, lock all those dangerous sites, lock witchcraft sites. Don't go and check lock all the nonsense. Leave them. They need laptop, they need communication to do their assignments and access information. They need their Google. Do you know in South Korea, they filtered what is coming into the whole country? You can't access porn, you can't access any nonsense in that country. They put the filter. It's the cleanest country on earth. I think more people will make heaven from there than from London and US. Because some people, before they finish repenting, I plead the blood, cleanse my, the rapture has happened. How many of you got today's message? Lift your hands and ask God to give you understanding, to make you a modern day Joseph, give you what it takes. You need to act on it by sowing a seed to activate. And then I'm going to pray the Joseph anointing on everyone here. There is a Joseph anointing. There is a Joseph mantle. There are changes on planet Earth now. This ministry of Joseph will constitute more than 70% of what God needs to finish up the end time project. God needs you as much as you think you need him. He needs you. God loves Josephs. Get my tapes, what we have taught. Make sure you get it. Keep it around you. It will help you. What you have heard this weekend is a roadmap.
This is the end of this part. Please play the next tape in the series.